Welcome to DIYEasyCrafts.com, how to make your own raised planter using synthetic stone facing. Now these planters are easy to make and they can be made in a variety of different sizes depending on the size of the planter you want and the size of the plastic insert that is available. All we basically used was 2x3s, one 4x4, and some cement board. So we're going to start the process by buying a plastic liner. I chose kind of a rectangular liner, which I bought at Home Depot. But like I said before, they're available in a bunch of different sizes. I created a box out of 2x3s, and I'm just framing that planter sleeve. The planter sleeve actually just sits inside of that box, and then the box has 4 legs, which are the desired height of the planter. Very, very simple, and you can make that whatever height you want. The corners are made out of 4x4, and I just used a circular saw to cut a notch out of that 4x4. I'll show you in a second. Basically, I used a slightly longer 4x4, clamped it into position, ran the circular saw down on both edges, and then I'm just using a chop saw to cut it to the accurate height. So these are kind of like fake legs. You can see now that the 2 runs of the circular saw took off one corner of that 4x4, creating a notch. That notch is going to fit around the 2x3 legs. And what this accomplishes is it gives me a nice 4x4 for aesthetic value, but it also gives me the surface of that 2x3 that I can screw the HardieBacker or the cement board into. I am going to add one additional 2x3 a little bit lower just to give that cement board a little bit of rigidity. So cutting the HardieBacker is pretty simple. There's a variety of different ways to cut it. I'm just going to score it with a razor knife. Make a few passes, 5 or 6 passes, and then you just snap it over the corner, just like you would sheetrock. It comes in a variety of different thicknesses, and there are different companies that make cement board. I happen to like the HardieBacker just because it stands up a little bit better to water, especially when using it in an outside environment. So this is just the additional stringer that I'm putting lower. All I'm doing is putting another 2x3 a little bit lower on the legs that I can screw the HardieBacker to. And I've cut all 4 sheets of the HardieBacker to size. These will now go in place, and these just get screwed on with regular sheetrock screws. I put a sheetrock screw every 8 or 10 inches. Probably a little bit of overkill, but it's not going to come off. And you can see how the planter liner sits inside that frame. It's already in position. And the 4x4s I just screwed into place. Just put a couple of longer screws right through into the 2x3s. Now at this point, I'm going to actually stain those pressure-treated 4x4s and the 2x3s. You can see that I picture framed the very top edge of the planter just to give it a little bit better looks. But I'm going to stain. I stained it with a real dark stain. Matches the stones that I had. I had these synthetic stones, stone facing, left over from the front of my foundation wall. So I just wanted to use them up and decided to make a planter out of them. The stones cut pretty easily with a wet saw. And what I did was I laid out all of the stones on each side before I started to mortar them into place. Most of the stones you didn't have to cut, but you do have to cut a couple of them to get them to fit perfectly. So these are the stones on one edge of the planter, all laid in place. And once they're cut and fit, I just remove them all from the bottom up, keeping track of which stones go where. I just kind of pile them up. And then I'll start to mortar them into place. I used a Flex Bond mortar, but you can use any thin set. Mix it up. My Flex Bond was actually white, so I mixed a little bit of black paint into it, just to give it, make it gray. I wanted it to kind of fade into the background. Now, thin set, just like you would doing tiles. You want to mix it up until it's fairly pasty. Spread it over the entire work surface, and then trowel it off using the grooved end of the trowel, so that you create little raised ridges in that mortar. And you're going to press those synthetic stones right down into that mortar, pressing right through those ridges so that it's adhered correctly. And now I'm going to start just adhering these stones from the top down. I'm going to put them all into position before I press down on them. This way I just make sure that everything fits. I can still move them around at this point, slide them a little bit up, a little bit down. Once they were all in there, I just press firmly on each one. And then you really have to walk away and let these harden before you turn the box and do the next side. You can use a wet rag to just clean up any of that mortar that spilled over, and just repeat the process on all 4 sides of the box. And once that's done, the project is completed. All you have to do then is add a little bit of soil, whatever appropriate plants you want, and the raised planter is finished. Very easy to make, do-it-yourself raised planter. Please check us out on the web at DIYEasyCrafts.com. Be sure to check out our other how-to videos. And if you like this video, I ask that you please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel.